Hi folks, welcome back to part 10 of SDLC model series. So here we will talk about spiral model. The spiral model is one of the SDLC model, and to understand it more deeply, here we go. The spiral model combines the idea of iterative development with the systematic aspect of waterfall model. So basically, spiral model is a combination of iterative development model and with a waterfall model. Okay, it is a combination of both of these models. It is based on the concept of spiral, with each loop representing a phase in the software development process. So basically, here we will divide the whole spiral model into four different parts, and after the completion of each loop, okay, here after the completion of whole loop, one spiral gets completed. So we will understand it diagrammatically later. So this is how it is made of. The models is inherently risk driven, meaning that risks are continuously assessed and addressed throughout the development life cycle. With the help of this model, we can assess the risk. In the initial phase itself, we will assess the risk if there is any risk involved. So, based on that, we will act. We will take care of the risk as well and we will manage the risk. So, this model is better suitable for the complex projects basically. If it involves a lot of risk, so we can assess the risk in the initial phase and then proceed with further phases. So this is how actually it looks. So here, the spiral model can be divided into four different phases in which risk analysis will be done and also feasibility study will be done. Suppose say there is a large project, huge project. At one shot, we will not be able to provide all the things to the users. Okay, so that we can divide the requirement into different smaller pieces and we can deliver each of the pieces one by one after the other. Okay, so first risk analysis will be done and then the feasibility study will be done. Okay, in the first phase, after the completion of it, it comes to the design phase. Okay, after the design is done, here it involves coding, right? So once coding is done, testing will be done. Okay. So after testing is done, it will be deployed to the production, and that's where it completes the first spiral or the first loop gets completed. So, and also if you see here, these terms are from the waterfall model. So basically, it is a combination of the waterfall model, iterative model. What happened now? One spiral got completed, and now for the next spiral, again the risk analysis will be done, feasibility study will be done, and then it goes to the designing phase. Okay. And once the design is completed, it comes to coding. Once the coding is completed, again the testing will be done and the deployment will be done. And so maintenance will also be done. And after that, again the risk analysis will be done if there is any risk or any changes required. So that will also be considered. Okay. And after the completion of the second spiral, what happens is we have a new set of requirement now. If it involves any requirement changes or anything, that can also be accommodated. So after that, again we will go to the next spiral where next phase will start. Again, the risk analysis and feasibility study will be done, designing is done, coding is done, and testing is done. And in the same fashion, all the different phases will complete and until the all the requirements are completed, this process this process will be done to complete the whole of the requirement. Okay. So basically here four different phases are there, and then that's how we will be able to track the uh, requirement basically. One after the other will be sent to the production where it is kind of an incremental model too, right? And the main principles of the spiral model is like it is an iterative development, right? So it is an iterative development. And also it is an incremental development. So because one loop is completed and deployed to the production and the other loop will be completed and deployed to the production, it is an incremental model too. And also with the help of this model we'll be able to identify the risk. So risk analysis will be done in the initial phase itself. So that is one of the principle, and it provides the flexibility. If there is any changes required in other models, we will not be able to accommodate the changes if the change in requirement comes. But here we can easily accommodate the changes with the help of this spiral model, because here in the risk analysis, or if there is any issue that comes, we can handle it in this spiral model. And there will be a continuous evaluation. Okay, once one loop is completed, again the risk analysis is done, it is evaluated basically, and then the next loop comes into picture, third loop, fourth loop. In the same fashion it goes on, so continuously there will be a deployment to the production also, and it will be evaluated also. So the best suitable model for large product or large projects. Okay, let's understand when to use this spiral model. When deliverance is required to be frequent, when frequent delivery is required, because we have split the whole requirement into different pieces. Okay? When project is large, okay? We spoke about it when we have a big project, large project, at that time it is better suitable. When requirements are unclear and complex, when changes may require at any time, any point of time, if we want to make any changes, that can be accommodated. So that's the reason we can handle the requirement changes too in the spiral model. Large and high budget projects, for large projects as well as which is having a high budget projects, for that it is good to go for spiral model. There are certain advantages and disadvantages too. So advantages are like high amount of risk analysis will be done, with which we can have the risk analysis and then implement based on the risk. Okay, it is one of the advantage. If there is any risk involved, we will not be able to identify initially in any other projects. Okay, so here that assessment will be done. Useful for large and mission critical projects. Okay, some of the disadvantages are can be costly model to use. Yeah, because after completion of each loop, again the same steps comes into picture, same phases comes into picture. So it is kind of a costly model. Risk analysis needed, highly particular expertise. So the risk analysis will be done only by the people who are expert in it, who are able to identify any kind of risk involved. All that thing, if we want to identify, it requires a person who is but expert in doing it. Doesn't work well for smaller projects. So it is best suitable only for large projects, right? So that is how the spiral model works. Basically, here we learned what is the spiral model, which is basically a combination of iterative model along with the waterfall model. And also, this model is divided into four different phases. And after the completion of each loop, the next loop comes into picture, or the next phase will start basically. So this is what we learned about the spiral model. Hope you understood what is spiral model and what are the advantages, disadvantages, and when to use this model. Hope you have liked this video. If you have liked it, please do like it, share it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. For watching. Bye bye.